Welcome to Ubuntu University. This is an introduction of who we are, what we're about, and why we need your help. So, to start off with, Ubuntu University is a brainchild of the African Pioneers. The African Pioneers are a group of graduates from the Thabo Mbeki African Leadership Institute. About 6-7 years ago, we came together and decided that we weren't just going to take what we learned and go our separate ways, but we would come together and start finding solutions for the African continent. Over the years, we've done some amazing work with refugees in Ghana, with orphans in Ethiopia, and with the anti-xenophobia campaign, which has become a continental campaign, but which has resulted from all the issues that were experienced in South Africa. And our most recent brainchild is Ubuntu University, because what we've come to realize is that the rest of the world doesn't really have spaces where we celebrate and are reminded of African values. But today's society, with all the challenges that it's facing, needs a restoration of African values. And with Ubuntu University, our values are to remember, restore, and reclaim all that is African. And when we do that, we do it by the pursuit of excellence in Black love, Black unity, Black wealth, Black health, Black beauty, Black ingenuity, and Black power. We've coined a term called EAI, and this stands for Empowering African Ideas. So the reason why we need your help is because we want to explore more of these empowering African ideas and share them with the world. I'll just briefly take you through a couple of them that we've already identified and created content that people can just meditate and reflect on in how relevant it is for their own lives. But as we go, we want Ubuntu University to be a think tank for exploring empowering African ideas and how relevant they are to our own lives. Starting off with the concept of normal. Normal is the activating power of the word. So when people say words create things, things were spoken into being, that is actually an African principle. And we want to take people through the idea of normal and why it is important for us to know things and name things properly. A lot of Africans go around wearing the definitions of what historians tell, and as we know, a lot of our history has been distorted. So when it comes to normal, we get back to renaming things, ourselves, even the situations we're in. For those who are struggling with self-identity and self-determination, one of the most difficult challenges is that there are no words sometimes for the things that we are faced with or that we feel. And going deeper into the concept of normal will help us to explore even how we name the feelings that we feel or the experiences that we've had collectively and even individually. So normal is one that we want to explore in a whole lot more depth. Now, at the core of Ubuntu is the concept of Ntu, which is the God energy or the God particle. And it's very exciting how we've already put together quite a comprehensive deck of information on just how to explore the concept of Ntu. So this page basically outlines various African values that are encompassed in Ubuntu. This list is not necessarily exhaustive, but it covers the majority of those values and how the Ntu is at the center of it all. Once again, we want to bring this work to the world and share it with more people so that they can identify themselves within the narrative, which is very important. The philosophy of Ubuntu or Ukama is one that I personally am very passionate about because it talks about how we relate in a world of Ntu. So there is the God essence in us, which is Ubuntu, and that is our inner world. There's the outer world, which is Kintu, the world of things, and then there's spirit, which is Ntu. And then we go back to concepts like Bantu, which is our celestial tribe, and how we relate to that. This concept is one that takes a lot, much more time to define. So we're not going to go through it exhaustively in this presentation, but it just goes to show the level of depth that we've gone into to explore empowering African ideas. And then one of the last things we want to do is to re educate and restore the concept of Ubuntu, which is the person, starting off with the alignment of Black unity, the Black family, and African spirituality. Because before we even talk about things like commerce, politics, or even our self expression, which is creativity, we need to start off with the realignment of ourselves to the Bantu, which is our celestial family, and other Africans in Africa and the diaspora, and that is Black unity, as well as reimagining the concept of African spirituality to one that is all encompassing, self governing, and non divisive. Now, just to give you a brief overview of who I am, my name is Lindiwe Amanda Mbali Princess Dlamini. My writing name is Mbaliga Jama. I'm an award winning writer, publisher of 6 books, and the one of the co-founders of the African Pioneers. And I'm the one who's spearheading Ubuntu University, particularly because it stems from a great passion of mine, which is the African continent as well as African ideas. Here are just a few images of some amazing trips I've had across the continent. Um, a few more. A couple of years ago, I spent a few years living in Kenya, which was very amazing just to see how agile and passionate and driven young people are. First of all, to define themselves as Africans. So even the way that we speak, our fashion, our food, how we entertain ourselves now as young Africans, it's coming back to that essence of what makes me an African and what am I proud of. Um, and that just entrenched for me the idea that whenever you succeed as a young African, it's never just for you. We always have to go back and inspire the rest of those that came up with us and even others that we come across in our adulthood. Um, as mentioned previously, the African Pioneers were a group of graduates from the Thabo Mbeki African Leadership Institute. And with some of the work that we've been doing over the years with the continent, it's received wide recognition, even as far as the African Union, where we've been invited a couple of times to share our ideas. And this is just one of the occasions. It was 2017 when I was invited to the African Union. Um, so going forward, I'd like to just thank you for taking the time to watch this video. And if you'd like to support us, we're on Patreon. It's Patreon/Ubuntu University, but our contact details are also down there. I'm always available on WhatsApp, as also on Twitter, Instagram, and yeah, Facebook. We've got a big presence, about 9,700 followers on Facebook for the African Pioneer. So we look forward to partnering with you and spreading this message. Please feel free to share with your contacts, your networks, others you might know who are interested in this. As part of our incentives to our patrons, we're giving away a couple of my books, e-copies of them. One particularly important one is a book that I wrote about 4 or 5 years ago called Dangerous Blacks. It's a very interesting exploration of just this notion of blacks being feared and what is there to really be afraid of when it comes to us as black people. But it's very provocative, and I'm proud that I wrote it at a young age because some of the ideas may have changed as I grew older, but the essence of it is still there. To be dangerous as a black person, you need to be dangerous by applying your mind to things, by thinking. And the most dangerous black people are black people who think. So, yes. Thank you. Inkosi asante siabo.